Attention, everyone! The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge is inviting you to join us in September for the African Union CARICOM Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Sign up for the 3-day package and be a part of the AU-CARICOM Summit, plus take in all of the sights of Addis Ababa, the new flower. Or you can opt for our 9-day cultural national tour, and that will engulf sites like Lalibela, Aksum, the Simeon Mountains, and much more. Transportation, accommodation, and your meals all included. So contact us now and reserve your spot. Email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com or visit our website priestisaacinstitute.com. Ethiopia. See you there. Blessed love, I am the Honorable Priest Isaac. I am an official priest within the realms of Rastafari of the Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress. I also hold a certification in the craft of archaeoastronomy from Politecnico di Milano in Italy. Our universe and its makeup has always been an intriguing subject for humankind. Astronomy is the study of everything in the universe beyond the Earth's atmosphere. Ancient astronomy is similar, but pays special attention to the physical and spiritual values of stars, planets, moons, and other celestial objects. It also brings in the terrestrial component, being things on an earthly plane, such as plants, human organs, and connects them to the heavenly bodies. In this course, you will learn the makeup of various planets and stars, how to locate them in the night sky, along with their associated constellations. You will also be taught about the earliest civilizations known for their astronomical comprehension, namely Kush, also known as ancient Ethiopia, Kemet, called Egypt today, the Dogons, and the Bozos, as well as the civilization of Sumer. You will also learn about black holes, their nature and origin, as well as how the ancients viewed them. Ancient astronomy is the mother of archaeoastronomy and astrotheology. Both subject areas are covered by the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge. Sign up today. Visit our website priestisaacinstitute.com or email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com for more information. Yes, my royal family, blessed love, give thanks for your presence with us. We glorify the life giver, the keeper of life, Emperor Haile Selassie I. Without a doubt, the tiger's nest in full effect. Wonderful program that we have in store for you this evening. Definitely audio and visual as well. And for those who are visualizing this, you can see for sure we have prepared for you the revisited and revised edition of the Mission to Ethiopia, the proposal. So I don't need to go into any long talking about this, at least not for now. You can definitely get your copy. You can take an in-depth look of the proposal by going into the description below the video, and you will definitely get all the information you need to know as it relates to the upcoming African Union CARICOM Summit and exactly the part that we intend to play. Although you know we are not going to play, we are going to definitely work and fulfill the agenda of the Black Christ in flesh. So for sure, I know some of you would have already contacted us and would have received your proposal, but this is the updated proposal for the mission to Ethiopia. It's in flip book fashion. So when you turn the pages, things get excited right away. Check that out. And everyone, the Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge is inviting you to join us in September for the African Union CARICOM Summit in Addis Ababa. And of course, we're going to be getting into some of that. In fact, what we are doing this evening, we will be somewhat taking in some of the activities that took place a few days ago at the Africaribbean Trade and Investment Forum 2025 that took place in the Spice Island of Grenada. How many of you were there? Of course, give thanks to all the brothers and sisters in Grenada that is well in tune. Now, of course, royal family, we must understand the importance of geopolitics. I know many of us as conscious people, geopolitics and what is really taking place in the world doesn't really come on the forefront of our agenda. It's not even on our radar, some of us. We are into a lot of religious and philosophical and historical, and sometimes I don't even think we're into that. We are just there. But the point is, we need to be rooted right now in this liberation. This is a different time. This is not yesterday. Now you see the Caribbean and the African leaders talking together so that they can create a link and a oneness between us. Royal family, these are not the people to do that. Those of us who are conscious, those of us who are militant in our thought, give thanks for the politicians, give thanks for the democratic elected leaders that are doing their duty and beginning the process. And even they need to understand how to go into their society and pick out the real warriors that are ready to go on the battlefield to do the works for the people and the liberation of us as a nation. So what I want those of us who are within this Rastafari community and within the conscious community and those of you young ones who are waking up is to focus on geopolitics, the ambassador's pen, and literally apply your consciousness now. Those of us who are not going to bow, those of us who are not going into this game to put on no jacket and tie and prince class and all of that stuff. Those of us who have the mission of Marcus Messiah Garvey, the vision of King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, and the agenda of Haile Selassie I on the forefront. So family, those of you who will be joining us in Ethiopia, I'm very thankful. Trust me, I'm so excited. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you lovely people. I'm looking forward to spending days and nights with people that, you know, have been following me for years, and some of you have been following me for weeks. But I'm very thankful that you are on board. I'm very thankful that we will be linking up in Addis Ababa. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you beautiful, wonderful people who would have, you know, taken this mission seriously. Those of you who have already contacted us and pledged that you will be there with us, I'm really looking forward to having a beautiful and wonderful time with you in Ethiopia. But again, family, those of you who have not connected with us yet, it's a simple thing to do. Just email the brother, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. Of course, I'm showing you the updated proposal. So all of the information is in the updated proposal as well. And remember, the proposal goes into not just the mission itself, or not just the tour itself, pardon me, but the full mission. We are also on a fact-finding mission, a research mission as well, an educational collaboration mission. All of this is highlighted there. Educational exchange, cultural connection, all of this is within the mission. Now, again, what I would like to do, family, is to home in to the panel discussion amongst the CARICOM leaders, which took place a day or two ago, again at this fourth annual Afri-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum that took place in Grenada. So you're going to have to take your time with the brother tonight to feed on the words of those who are in the forefront right now politically as it relates to our connection and reconnection to Africa and reconnecting Africa to those of us in the diaspora. This is a very serious and important subject area now, family, of the conscious realms for us to pay attention to. There's no time to waste. There's no time to sit back and we feel we are right. And no, this is the time for us to get on the diplomatic train, to get on the educational train, and to be intelligent in all our actions, to put our foot in the door. Your brother is here putting his foot in the door. This is why you have been listening to us speak of the African Union CARICOM Summit for almost a year now. When I began speaking about this, I could tell you for sure, even within my own country that I live in, it wasn't a talking point at all. In fact, ones didn't even know about it. And I'm talking about in the highest levels. But now you hear all the leaders of the Caribbean countries gathering together. And they're speaking of the importance of bringing Africa and the Caribbean together as one. Well, I'm happy. I'm elated to hear that. But I'm not going to sit back and just watch it as if I'm at the ringside. No, we all, especially those of us who are conscious, need to be in the ring, on the battlefield, because it's consciousness that is going to save the day. Right thinking that is going to save the day, not a Babylon system that is still fed on Christmas and still fed on hamburgers and still fed on the colonialistic ideologies that has been handed down to us. Not a mentality that's still, feeding off of jacket and ties and red and green here, and a beautiful black woman must still put on the reddest of lipsticks. No, I'm very serious. You think I'm laughing here? This is very serious. We are going into a new dimension, royal family. And we as Rastafari, those of us who understand the rootical nature and the philosophy of Rastafari, those of us who are the intellects of Rastafari, we need to rise up now. Make sure the world understands that we are here. And you cannot sail this boat and pretend as if we are not on board. And we are capable to assist in steering the boat as well. We're not just passengers. And that is very, very important for us to keep in mind going forward. Very good. Remember, the link for the proposal of the mission is in the description below. Okay. Now, what I want to do, as I said, royal family, we will be basically taking in again a panel discussion that took place a few days ago, a day or two ago. And this is coming from CBMC, NBC Africa. We will be relaying it through that network. And again, this is the conference or panel discussion that was held with some of the Caribbean and CARICOM leaders, as well as a few African leaders were there. The head of Tanzania was there, and I think another brother, I think, from representing Nigeria. He may have been the foreign minister of Nigeria. But again, we're going to take some time this evening to listen and even watch the discussion to some degree and reason on it as intellects at this time. Hey, give thanks for your presence. Life give and the keeper of life. This is the Tiger's Nest. Make sure you share the link. Make sure you like and the full works, and make sure you become a subscriber of all that we do. Our ambassador's pen, the magazine Kidemi, the Tiger's Nest program itself, Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com. gmail.com. Let's jump into this.
Walk us through what the building blocks of that would be and what that would look like, and as Africa, Caribbean free trade area, just walk us through what the building blocks of that would be and what that would look like. And as the Prime Minister answered this question, if anyone else would like to jump in, we really want this to be a dynamic, involved discussion as opposed to me asking each of you a question individually. So if anyone else wants to comment on what Prime Minister Motley is saying, then you're invited to jump in after her.
Thank you very much. As it relates to the deepening of the relationship between Africa and CARICOM, let us be clear, the further penetration that is necessary to make this real will not happen by sentiment nor speeches. And to that extent, therefore, the CARICOM AU meeting in Addis in September is a critical follow-up, not just to establish the credentials of political will, but to begin to lay out a pathway that will allow the substantive interaction in trade, investment, diplomacy, etc. to continue, people-to-people interaction. And why do I say so? It takes two hands to clap. So I may stand prepared, for example, to be able to support the opening up of travel on this side, but there has to be others on the other side developing the market as well for it to happen. We may want to be able to see more direct trade linkages in terms of controlling the maritime routes, but it also requires a deconstruction as to what is necessary for us to move goods straight from West Africa to the Caribbean. Perhaps what is missing more than anything else is the information platform that is necessary to allow individual investors, individual traders to be able to make decisions. And I hope that one of the things that will come out of Addis Ababa in just over a month is the creation of that platform. I've always said that where we have banks that investors are familiar with, that's the first step to make them comfortable. And to that extent, the presence of Republic Bank in Ghana with over 50 branches is a major starting point for us out of West Africa. I hope that we will have other banks from Africa in the Caribbean. And I say so conscious. In my own country, we have 3 Canadian banks, the youngest of which I think is over 80 years old now. We have 2 Trinidadian banks, and we believe that it is more than possible for us to see the kind of innovation that we saw in East Africa when Barclays and Standard Chartered and those pulled out of Kenya. There was an innovation that unleashed tremendous opportunities for the people of Kenya. I feel that that kind of innovation is needed in the Caribbean now, and that equally we have to confront the fact that with the exception of Haiti, all of our countries in the region are underpopulated, and you cannot sustain economic growth without people. So that we need to find a way of working alongside our brothers and sisters in Africa too, because to the extent that there are skills that we cannot acquire here in the sufficient scale or numbers that we need, then Africa that is facing a demographic dividend in this century can perhaps assist us in meeting some of those skills that are not presently available to us. So, bottom line, that we start to drill down into the details of what will make it possible to link our own single market and economy in the Caribbean with the Africa Free Trade Area, and then equally how we provide the information platform that will allow individual investments to move, as well, in particular in the financial services sector, in banking and insurance.
Active requires active action. And I want to make the point here that we can't allow this initiative to die. It cannot become a talk shop. And the proposal to establish a commission, I think it's an excellent idea, and we should establish a commission as soon as possible But the Commission should not be limited to bureaucrats and technocrats. I believe that there should be some political involvement, political direction, to make sure that we can get quick action to achieve at least some of the low-hanging fruits so that we can achieve this integration between Africa and the Caribbean. We know exactly what the problems are. We know, for example, that we do not have the infrastructure to move people, to move goods. But I believe that we have the capacity so to do. And I'm hoping that we can have a strong partnership between the public and private sectors in which we could utilize not only our ideas but also funding in order to create sustaining air and sea links between Africa and the Caribbean. Because at the end of the day, if we're unable to move people and to move goods, then clearly we will not be successful. Now, I believe that going into the Africa-Caribbean Summit in Addis Ababa, I am hoping that we can have a full commitment from our leaders to establish the necessary air and sea links. In fact, perhaps we could start a study from now to determine exactly how to position those E&C links and the necessary investments. I believe that the Afri-Exim Bank could provide some seed money for this initiative, but we need urgent action. And within CARICOM, we've been discussing getting our own vessels to establish our own sea links. But perhaps there could be a broader involvement involving Africa in which we can move goods from Africa to the Caribbean, and that those very vessels could also move goods within the region, so we can increase inter-region trade as well. So I think there are lots of opportunities for us to exploit, and when you look at the geopolitical challenges today, we obviously now have to become architects of our own development, and instead of operating these extractive economies in which our economies, our natural resources are being extracted for the benefit of the global north, I believe that we have to invest more in our own development. We have to increase processing of products to make sure that we can benefit from the value added. And as we continue to build the value added, we can clearly increase trade between Africa and the Caribbean. I mean, there are many opportunities in terms of physical trade, even in terms of tourism trade. I'm sure that there are many Caribbeaners who would like to travel to Africa. But again, it is cost prohibitive. It is extremely long to get there. You have to transit various capitals to get to countries in Africa. And if we can establish these direct links, clearly we could move people. And in order to have a properly integrated movement between Africa and the Caribbean, we must be able to move people, move capital. So the fact that there's so many of us here, you can see that there is definitely strong political will. What is required now is action, and this is exactly what I'm urging, that we move quickly to strengthen the institutional arrangements and to make the necessary investments so that we can increase trade and the movement of people, trade within the region and extra-regionally between Africa and the Caribbean, and the movement of people between the two regions. Thank you.
I know that Dangote has announced plans, the Dangote Group has actually announced plans to establish a petroleum export terminal within the Caribbean. Just quickly, what advice would you give? I know that you've talked about certain barriers that exist between trade and investment for the two reasons. What advice would you give, let's say, African businesses who are trying to set up shop in the Caribbean, or Caribbean businesses who are trying to set up shop in Africa, and how do we overcome the barriers that are present right now?
Well, thank you very much. It's great being with all of you, and thank you very much for the invitation. I think the first thing that we need to do is
that is Aliko. I think his name came up as well. Dangote. Yes. And he is the founder of the group that carries his name, the Dangote Group, and he's said to be, if not the richest, how is it? If not the richest, one of the richest of them all, obviously within the billions. So his presence at this forum as well is a good plus.
I think the first thing that we need to do is actually to try and create a corridor where there's an airline business between the Caribbean and African countries. And also we need to remove all these visa issues, because one of the biggest issue that we have as entrepreneurs is about visa issues. Coming to the business about investing in the petroleum sector. When I last visited Grenada and Bahamas, I realized that they are really paying quite a lot in terms of petroleum products. It's very, very, very expensive. Actually, it is even unheard of. So we are looking at the opportunity where we can set up a terminal either in Grenada or in the Bahamas or any of the Caribbean and see how can we help to bring this cost down. Not only the petroleum business, we are looking at also cement. When I look at what you are paying in the Caribbean in terms of cement, it's almost about 3 times what you are paying in Africa. And that is really very, very prohibitive. And, I think we need to team up together, remove all these visa issues, let us get to know each other, and, that will actually open up the doors for investment.
So,
and then also,
go ahead.
we're looking at also fertilizers. We're looking also at fertilizers, which is a little bit scarce. We are looking of, setting up a place where at least one of the countries will set up an area where we can now do urea, you can do NPK, because 37% of our own urea goes to the US. We have a plant of 3 million tons and we're taking it to about 9 million tons. We are targeting in the next 36 months to be the largest urea producer in the world.
Madam Moderator, I wanted to react quickly, if you would allow me. I'm sorry.
Let me come in. No need to be sorry, Mr. Prime Minister, but I'll come in before you're there. Now, just to highlight even what is being said by the good brother, Mr. Dangote there. So again, even without detailing everything he said, in all honesty, to my audience, I just want us to become climatized to the discussion. In all honesty, I know my people and my people know me. And although we are very honored to be introduced to new people every day, I know by and large, our people have some sort of phobia with really getting into the depths of geopolitics. And this is why we have the Ambassador's Pen magazine. Those of you who are Bobo Shanti, the Black Supremacy book that was written by the Honorable King Emmanuel. You see me looking around just to see if it's somewhere close by. But anyway, it's okay. You know the book. The Black Supremacy book. The very first time I got hold of the Black Supremacy book, myself, like maybe others, was looking for the religious doctrine. I was looking to see what time you went to sleep and what time you wake up. I was searching through the page to see what color you wear on Thursday and if you do this and that on Friday. But no, that wasn't the Black Supremacy book at all. It began by saying something about the Sabbath, but the rest of the book were correspondence and email, not emails really, but letters at that time to high officials, to diplomats, to queens and kings, to prime ministers and presidents from the office of the Honorable King Emmanuel Charles Edwards, speaking about repatriation, speaking about compensation, even speaking about human rights in the island of Jamaica and the Caribbean islands, where the suffering slave descendants, who we consider refugees, were captive for the moment. That's the Black Supremacy book. The Black Supremacy book highlights diplomacy, geopolitics. That is why Bongo Flacco referred to King Emmanuel as the first politician, although I prefer to say the first diplomat. So my point is, our tradition is geopolitics, and this is a different time. This is the time King Emmanuel was looking for. When our heads of state start to connect with the heads of state in Africa. That is why every time we wrote to the Queen, we got the answer that, hey, listen, this is government to government business. You got to agitate to your government to talk to those governments. That is what's happening now. And like almost everything that Rastafari has brought to the forefront, that agenda has gone ahead of us and is now being played in the halls of the AU and other places. Give thanks. Reparation and even some level of repatriation and trading and commerce and even just knowing each other via culture. But we are thankful for that. But what I am saying now, family, we cannot be spectators here. Those of us that are of the Emmanuel ilk, we cannot be, past the binoculars. No, we have to be on board. We have to be on the forefront. So give thanks, at the same time, because even within Rastafari, ambassadors would have arisen. Even right here in Antigua, you could highlight the ambassador to the African Union in his time, His Excellency Ambassador Bruce Goodwin, and of course, Elder King Frankai, who was given the ambassadorship to Ethiopia, and other designated ambassadors as well, just waiting for the official recognition to come to the forefront. So that is good. But Rwanda has opened its doors, at least here in Antigua, and free visa, not free, but throw away the visa stuff, as you heard the brother there speaking, and others will speak also as it relates to freedom of movement within our countries. So, yes, royal family, let me make the conversation continue. There are a few good nuggets that we'll be dropping in that I would like to also speak about. And as you would have heard, the Prime Minister of Antigua, one Gaston Alfonso Brown, wanted to come in.
Madam Moderator, I wanted to react quickly, if you would allow me. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
But there are three major petroleum storage facilities within the Caribbean, one in Trinidad and Tobago, one in Jamaica, and another in Antigua and Barbuda. But we've been buying extra-regionally, and we have not patronized Africa. Perhaps what we need to do now is to direct our purchasing out of Africa to get cheaper products, better products. So even without building out an additional terminal, there are already 3 large terminals. But again, it reconfirms the fact that we do not have the type of information flow, the type of database to know precisely what products are available, what facilities are available. So this is one of the areas that we need to quickly establish so that we know what is available and that we can increase trade between Africa and the Caribbean. Sorry for interrupting.
No, don't worry. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll make a point that
Very good.
that I think what is required now is for the private sector of the Caribbean to step forward, and that people like ourselves would take the second row, the third row in the room, because at the end of the day, trade is essentially among business people. The politicians are setting the framework, and of course we have taken the very important points raised by Mr. Dangote of the facilitation. And I think what we need to do as governments is to provide the facilitation and the framework to allow business and trade to flourish. And so there are huge opportunities, I believe, and this is where I believe that Active now needs to shift a gear in a sense and to focus more on engaging business people and to see where the quote-unquote deals can be negotiated and signed off upon. Otherwise, if we keep it at the government level, all you will find is that we're going to be borrowing from Afri-Exim Bank for national projects, but not for the kind of investments that are going to propel the higher creation of jobs and profits. And so, because it is when Mr. Dangote sets up in the Caribbean, you're going to have direct flights, because people are going to want to know what's happening in the Caribbean, because this giant from the African continent is investing in the Caribbean. And so we're hoping that coming out of the AU summit, there is a clear appreciation by the heads of state, heads of government, the need to create the facilitation. These visas Visas really never existed before. We have caused ourselves from a colonial standpoint to impose restrictions on our movement. And in the 21st century, I think we need to get rid of all the visas and allow people to move freely. And there's no reason why a businessman needs 5 visas to come to 5 different Caribbean countries. It's not going to work.
Thank you. Well said, well said.
And an interesting point, as she said, well said there, 5 different visas to come to 5 different African countries or even Caribbean countries. But I think this is a good time for us to bring this word of right in for everyone to. Attention, everyone! The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge is inviting you to join us in September for the African Union CARICOM Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Sign up for the 3-day package and be a part of the AU-CARICOM Summit. Plus, take in all of the sights of Addis Ababa, the new flower. Or you can opt for our 9-day cultural national tour, and that will engulf sites like Lalibela, Aksum, the Simeon Mountains, and much more. Transportation, accommodation, and your meals all included. So contact us now and reserve your spot. Email us priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com or visit our website priestisaacinstitute.com, Ethiopia. See you there. And yes, Royal Family, just reminding you, now is the time for you to contact us. Again, priestisaacinstitute@gmail.com. Of course, you would have heard us been promoting this for some time now. Again, definitely being forerunners for sure. I can clearly tell you, again, when I even address my own government as it relates to this, I'm speaking of the nation that I'm in, Antigua and Barbuda, of the highest of office, clearly told me, looking in my eyes, that we have no intention to send any delegation to the African Union CARICOM Summit. I'm just telling you the reality of it. It was something that was basically not on the forefront at all anywhere. No big speaking of it in the CARICOM region at all. But for sure, you could see now it's ready like an erupting volcano. And within a month, it's going to be the talk of the town, the African Union CARICOM Summit. And again, a year after it's done, we don't want it to have been forgotten in the same way that it was not really perceived to be what it's going to be. The point is, we don't want no talking shop. We don't want no, this is what we're going to do, and it never happens. That is why we, as the conscious community now, those of us that represent Rastafari, Emperor Haile Selassie I, all the good words and all the good teachings and all the good meditation and all the good herbs and all the Nyabingi now, it's time to put all of this energy to work. So again, your brother is on the front line. Your sister is on the front line. And other brothers and sisters on the front line to make this mission happen in Ethiopia. So as you know, it's a diplomatic mission that the Institute will be on. And it is also a business venture. If it wasn't a business venture, I don't think it could have ever happened. You understand? And this is why we are even encouraging those of you who are observing the works that we are doing to advertise in the upcoming edition of the Ambassador's Pen and the upcoming edition of Kidemi. And these will be the magazines, the next 2 editions of the Ambassador's Pen and the next edition of Kidemi. Look for that for Marcus Messiah Garvey's birthday. That will be the anniversary of Kidemi, actually. These magazines will be the magazines that we will be displaying when we go to the African Union CARICOM conference. And that is just one part of the mission. We'll be going to different resorts. We'll be going to different businesses, hotels, and other businesses, coffee manufacturers and coffee huts, and creating trade amongst ourselves. We will start there. Even the Rastafari nation for sure will have a stronger link with Ethiopia when we are done with that mission there. So I'm very happy for all of those who are on board in one way or the other, those of you who have donated, even those who would have donated $20 or $40. You don't have to worry. You would know if you have donated. So don't be looking around. You're supposed to check, have I donated yet? Have I put something towards the mission to Ethiopia as yet? You know, have I even asked for the understanding of what can I do towards this mission? Well, again, you could be with us. That's very important. You could also take one of our sponsorship offers, which literally means you can sponsor the whole mission, or you could get a silver sponsorship, a gold sponsorship, and the sponsorship would have been updated. As I said, go to the link below the video and you will get the description below the video. You get the link, the first link that is available, and that is the link to the up-to-date version of the mission. Beautiful. That's the proposal for the mission to Ethiopia. So yes, family, I know I may be somewhat rattling it off, but it's a lot of excitement here, and that's the truth. And again, you could see all the delegates speaking now, people leaving Africa, the billionaire in Africa, everyone coming together, speaking of the AU, African Union CARICOM Summit. That is supposed to be a game changer in history. It's almost like the Battle of Adwa in geopolitical style, if it's done right. And it is something that even the Prime Minister of Barbados, the Honorable Mayor Mottley, would have also hinted at when they met in February at the African Union headquarters in Addis Ababa. So it's going to be great, royal family. The link is in the description below the video. You can go through the mission for yourself so you have a better understanding of what it's about and how you can contribute, how you could advertise with the magazine, how you can be there with us, or how you can simply donate once you understand the importance of the mission. Very good, beautiful. Do I have anything else to say? Of course, I have many things to say, but I want us to get back to the conversation here and continue to take in some of the information that we are getting from these heads of states. You just heard a moment ago from one Roosevelt Skerritt, the Honorable Prime Minister of Dominica. That's the individual that spoke before we got into the mission to Ethiopia. So definitely, family, before we jump straight into this, I'm looking for you to contact Priest Isaac Institute at gmail.com and add to the mission. Everyone that really supports the work that we do, you have some way that you can add to the mission. We have several offers that we would have made and opportunities that you have that you can add to the mission, even if it's just simply to donate. All right, as we continue. Oh, thank you very much.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you very much. I wanted to really touch on the point of the visa, and I think Angote and Prime Minister Skerritt touched on it. 2 business people were supposed to come here today to sign with us with an investment in St. Kitts and Nevis that is coming through the Africaribbean Bank. And one of them could not be here because he needs a visa. That is directly already affecting how we do business. And therefore, this tells us in a stark way that we really need to get rid of the visa system. We, for example, have visa-free access. Nigerians have visa-free access to St. Kitts and Nevis because we have been welcoming, yes? We have been welcoming medical students for a long time, diving students and so forth. But for us to go to Nigeria, we need a visa. And again, I think that that is something to be looked at. We're in the process of discussing that with the high officials in Nigeria, but that is a real issue in terms of the communication. Just to wrap the point up, I think that there are different levels on which we can work. All does not need the direct intervention of the governments, and therefore I think the point is made. For example, St. Kitts and Nevis Ministry of Education has now linked with the Open University of Tanzania. I'm very sure that the Prime Minister of Tanzania did not know that, but he does not need to know that. Once the facilitation is created, people will find their own way within this space to make sure that things work. We have also gone as far as connecting with university in Kenya so that we can tap into the TVET program, which we are going to do, something we had been seeking to do for the longest time, but Kenya has opened up that opportunity. Again, I'm pretty sure that the president of Kenya does not know this, but because the environment is being created, that connection is already being made and tangible benefits are being seen. And lastly, to say, just recently, we, of course, worked together with a private entity in Nigeria, and we were able to have an African-Caribbean forum in Abuja and have a return visit to St. Kitts and Nevis, where Air Peace, one of the largest jets ever landed in St. Kitts and Nevis, and I can say that the president of Nigeria may not have known that this is happening. Saying clearly again that once the environment is created, we will ensure, or our people will ensure, that the connections and the trade happen. So my point is, let's create the environment, the political will, and the opportunities for our people. Let our people be able to move, and let us handle the visual matter.
Yeah, I think, well, I think president.
Beautiful before we get to that information there. So that was that's the Prime Minister now. That was the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. That was Terence Drew, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, if I have that correct. And I chuckled a bit, really, He made 3 heavy points, and he was also sure that the president of Tanzania, who was right there sitting down, didn't have any idea of what was taking place, or president or prime minister. But the head of Tanzania was right there. And he was sure that, and I'm sure he didn't know about this, and I'm sure he didn't know about that. So I just had to take a laugh. I was like, oh, you so sure the man didn't know this and that? In fact, one of the points that he made, and this is why I am pulling for the ambassador's pen, those of you who are observing the video aspect of this, we're looking at the most recent edition of the ambassador's pen, and this is the return. Speaking of the Benin bronze, and of course the ambassador's pen, the link for the ambassador's pen is in the description below this video. And remember, the ambassador's pen is a magazine that comes to you, and for sure the magazine Kidemi is twice per year. But I just want to highlight, for those of you who have not taken the time to go through the ambassador's pen yet, the more recent edition, here it is. You see the Prime Minister of St. Kitts right here, and he is standing toe-to-toe with the Nigerian head of state, and they are basically bonding. And he was just speaking a moment ago about the flight Air Peace out of Nigeria that landed in St. Kitts a few months ago, and it was a big thing. And he said, that the president of Tanzania may or may not have done, and he said it 3 times. So I just chuckled, interestingly. So it's as if he's putting him on the spot. And then at the same time, it's quite interesting that was highlighted there. That is the situation with the what you may call it, the Nigerian airline, and of course that very same airline would have visited the nation of Antigua and Barbuda as well. I'm talking about Air Peace. It also came here. So the connections starting to be made. And again, I'm just saying that those of us who are the conscious ones, we need to be on the forefront. Now, I'm speaking for Rastafari, but at the same time, you know, there are many different, let's just say, conscious entity that came out of the enslavement period. And many of them also have no say in really what's taking place in the world. But I'm sure that this is the time for Rastafari. Listen to me good. Like the same Daniel in the Bible, like the same Joseph that became somewhat the head of Egypt, to make sure the people don't die by starvation because of famine and drought. It's wise words, royal family. Take time and meditate on it. Let's continue.
The president of Nigeria is going to come up with a very good visa policy to create visa on arrivals, because really I know it's been very difficult getting Nigeria's visa, but I think that issue will be sorted out very soon. I think in this quarter we will be hearing from the president how people can just get visas on arrival. I think that will open up. But my own dream is to see that how we actually, free up Africa in cement, in petroleum products, in urea, fertilizer. We will do the same to the Caribbean. I visited there. I don't have any visa issue, but other entrepreneurs, they do have visa issues. Once you remove the visa issues, we set up air connectivity. Definitely, we have to work together. We are natural partners. We are the same people. We are just being divided by the colonial masters, and we should get back.
You understand that key point, that point there he's making. Once we get that visa business out of the way, which is really something that the colonial people invented, and we just keep it up and dividing ourselves from each other. Once that is removed, all we have to do is to obviously open way now for us to have connecting flights and connecting trade and all the things that connect us with each other. Family, this is where we are going. That is what I'm showing you. And we have to be a part of this. We got to be on board rowing as well. In reality, we are the captains of this. I just explained to you the black supremacy. And just like everything else, Rastafari would have led the way. Brother Vaughn and Midnight has a song, Rastafari lead the way. So, well, that's what it is. Rastafari is leading the way. And it is important that we stand out as leaders in the way. We cannot wait for those who the world consider leaders to say, oh yeah, Rastafari, come and lead. That will happen too. Don't get me wrong, but that happens when you are already there, putting yourself on the front line, putting the pedal to the metal, and putting your shoulder to the wheel to make sure the work of black supremacy continues. Royal family, Holy Emmanuel I, Selassie I, Jah Rastafari. Royal family, once again, give thanks. Give thanks for your presence with us. I'm encouraging everyone to take a look at the most recent edition of the Ambassador's Pen. And then, of course, at the same time, go through all the magazines. They're right there in the link in the description below. All the links are there. Then at the same time, I will be encouraging you as well to take a look at the mission to Ethiopia. That is the first link in the description below, and that is the revisited and revised version. So those of you who may not have emailed us to get a copy of the previous proposal, you don't have to email us to get a copy of this proposal, not unless you want it in PDF style. You just go below and press the link and you have it there. The fundraiser campaign. Again, as you could see, the levels that this mission is really on. And it's not just the AU and CARICOM summit. It's beyond that and around that. The work has already begun, Royal Family. for those of you who are really interested to understand, we would have already made these connections. We highlight that in the ambassador's pen, not the ambassador's pen really. We highlight that in the mission to Ethiopia, as we clearly show on our diplomatic front. We are currently having conversations with key people within the permanent representative office of the African Union and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And as I said, also on a diplomatic level, yes, but on a business level, individuals that are high and deep in business, like even the brother that we just heard from there from Nigeria, ones that are within the sector for sure, coffee and textile and tea, and again, luxury resorts and real estate. These are the links that we intend to make. These are the links that we are already making. Some of them already set, meetings already scheduled. So it's not a joke, Royal Family. This is what I'm showing you. And we are really looking forward for all those who can be with us. Just contact us. Those of you, again, who can advertise with the magazines, you yourself will get a strong promotion, and that will assist this mission as well. Those of you who want to get a special package, of course, all of this is in the mission to Ethiopia proposal. I would not go into the details. If you're real serious, you will just look at it and, it's very clear and easy to be understood. And again, without a doubt, those who are just sitting watching, and wow, that's just too much. I can't do all of that. But I know you can donate something because you respect the work, don't you? No, I'm very serious, because we as individuals in this time have to understand it's not a one finger thing. It's not this finger. It's all the fingers coming together to make the fist so that the impact can be felt. Many of us, we too like the bleachers. We're bleachers people. We're in the bleachers, way up there, telling the man on the field how to play. Pass the ball, no man. Pass the ball. Hey, he's stupid. See? He don't even know how to pass the ball. Yeah, family, we definitely have to understand that this is a team business, and give thanks for all of you who have comprehended that and would have joined the team for this mission here. Give thanks to the life giver and the keeper of life. Of course, if you know your Bible and you do not know your history, the knowledge of your Bible will become a mystery. And of course, it takes some real eyes to realize the real lies that are amongst us. Give thanks. I'm going to seal this up right here in the mission to Ethiopia. I don't even have to drop the ad. It's right in the book. Just turn the page. Rastafari. And there you have it. Give thanks, royal family. Attention, everyone. Wow. The Priest Isaac's Institute of Holistic Knowledge is inviting you to join us in September for the African Union CARICOM Summit in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Sign up for the 3-day package and be a part of the AU-CARICOM Summit, plus take in all of the sights of Addis Ababa, the new flower. Or you can opt for our 9-day cultural national tour, and that will engulf sites like Lalibela, Aksum, the Simeon Mountains, and much more. Transportation, accommodation, and your meals all included. So contact us now and reserve your spot. Email us priestisaacInstitute@gmail.com or visit our website priestisaacInstitute.com. Ethiopia. See you there.